Today, we have the top 100 rated players in FC24. We're gonna put them into tiers because that's what we do here. Quick disclaimer, these are the top 100 overall rated players as the recording has begun. Of course, I can't predict the future. EA will introduce more items, I'm sure. As we move forward, there'll be upgrades. You know how this goes. If you have questions about other players, by all means, we have the comment section. Let your voice be heard. As for the tiers, broken, rank 1, foot champs, debatable, and the pine. That has not shifted. If you're new to the channel, it is free to subscribe. Most of you are not subscribed. We get busy. Oh my goodness, this is going to be difficult. Pele. I've got to do this with some subjectivity between the players. I'm comparing and I'm contrasting, but he is the real deal. I'm starting out hot with a rank 1. That could move. At the end of the video, we will have a review, so don't go anywhere. We're going French in the middies. This is where I'm comparing and contrasting. For sure, good enough for the weekend league. Decent value. You're not going to overpay. Bamadi, congratulations on all your achievements. I'm also going to place her into foot champs. Pateus, I think for what she's added to the game, the amount of teams, the way that she articulates herself, and I'm just waiting on some sort of promo, but Pateus has to be in broken. She's game changing, game shifting. Been all the rave since the beginning of the title. Bacha, I love the value. I have her. You most likely have her. Good price points to pay on an SBC. Already upgraded from an 88 to an 89. I would say likely to get herself up to a 90. Don't know if that's gone official. Baggio, the Italian Brazilian, as I always say. I'm throwing him into the debate for now. I just like him. I enjoy the flair, the technique, the skills. But he's not necessarily meant for meta. But we have seen players that weren't necessarily as good in previous installments find their feet. Technically, that's a pun. In FC comparatively, and some of that's due to play styles, where they could take a player from the FIFA grave and bring him back to an FC superstar, or at least being influential. Baresi, I'm sorry. Fantastic defender, undeniable talent, but just does not fit the game. And you can't tell me you would prefer him to other center backs that you have available. And this is not a value list. I'm not basing this off how much you're paying. If it's an observation, sure, we'll talk about it. But what's right is right, and I have to be honest. Kareem the Dream. This year, I feel that he's been underrated. Got him with foot champs. I still hate this highlighter, biohazard, radioactive promo in terms of the design. It's such a strange advent calendar. Bird Camp, I don't like doing it, but I know the list that we have here. He's the best of the best. I'm putting him into a debate because, again, I believe he'll surprise you. He's been overlooked. You are getting a good price point. Last time I looked, he was around 100,000 coins, maybe even just under. Georgie Best, at least rank 1. The bowl cut in its finest, responsiveness, being able to cut through a defense. Classic winger. About as classic as they come. Bobby, and I haven't gone up against him that frequently. I know as a new icon, his price point is rather high. He could move. He might be better. Maybe he should go into broken. I know what's on the horizon, and my first instinct says rank 1 from my personal experience going up against Bobby Charlton. Bomb Pastor. I like her. If you're looking for a fullback, and we have started getting some upgraded fullbacks. She can join the combo. Bruno, I get it. If you're trying to make an argument saying he's going to continually upgrade, maybe you could put him into the debate. We just have so many good midfielders. And I'm not basing this on projections. I'm not sure that Bruno will get himself into that conversation, that dialogue without a different promo item. I'm still having nightmares from his team of the season a few years back. Cafu. That guy's the real deal. For now, rank 1, but one of the best fullbacks in the game, if not the best. You're also going to pay a pretty penny for that. Cantona, I struggle to not have him in broken. I've got a bias, but between the physicality and the movement and the skills and the ability to have ingenuity, but also almost have the BS factor in game that you need sometimes, where you can push it through a defender. You get the lucky nutmeg, the bounce back. You can win a back post header. You can knock it down. You can facilitate. He's an all-arounder. Happily on record, I'm a fan. Carlos Alberto. Do I put him lower than Cafu? Some of you might argue, make a choice. Prefer him as a fullback versus a center back. I know that you can play him in either position. A little undersized as a center back. Depends what you're looking for with your team. Think of an upgraded version of a Koundé if you're going to go with the center back route, which for many of you might be exactly what you were looking for. Casillas, and I don't know what to do with the goalkeepers. I'll throw him into debatable for now. He's not the best of the icon goalkeepers, and I think that's fair. A little bit undersized, but the cat is still reactive. Courtois, also into the debate. I have him. I've used him a ton. There's been times that I praise him. There's times that I want to throw him out a window. That has just been the reality, and that might be my experience and relationship with goalkeepers throughout the year. I think that's relatable across the board. Mr. Johan Cruyff. There's no other category for him. The double 5-star to 5-piece. Cruyff does not care about your family. He's going to fake shot you to death. King Kenny Dalglish. He's back, revitalized. He's not cooperating when I'm going up against him. He is roasting and toasting. I'm talking s'mores against my back line. Big first touch, hitting the lanes for the through balls, and he finishes everything. He's back. Diaz. Just off the pace alone, at least to the weekend league. KDB still needs another upgrade, in my opinion, but overall stats, the facilitation, he's a bit of an in-between stylistic center mid. Doesn't have all the characteristics of Trace to be as good as the upper level central midfielders as it stands. Del Piero. Can I enter my Del Piero clip here?
Del Piero told me I had to deliver. How did I do?
I remind you all the time. I'm sorry if I'm getting annoying with that, but I can't believe it happened. Diani with an upgrade. I really like her this year. Stands out for me, phenomenal. I currently have her baseline item, the 89 overall, and she's coming off the bench for me as a super sub. In most of my situationships, I would have her leaning more towards a rank 1 or a broken, but these are the best of the best, the most expensive players in the game, the highest rated, the most hype. We gotta buckle down. Eusebio, right there with Cruyff, has to be. I believe, and maybe we could do a poll somewhere, this would be somewhat 50-50 between Cruyff and Eusebio, with preference of which attacker you prefer. Forlan, I packed this gentleman, and at a different time, different point of the year, he might be higher than debatable, but that's not this time. He's not as meta. Gorencia, I am most definitely on board, a vocal supporter, and he goes to rank 1. Ginola, absolute monster. Long hair, and I definitely care. I'm not dealing with him well. Whether he plays a striker, a winger, attacking mid, a center forward, any of these floating attacking roles, just dangerous. He's always in the right places offensively. He has every attribute you could ask for in terms of an attacker. I don't think anyone would disagree. He's undeniable talent. You see him and you see Mbappe, and they're aligned. They're collaborating, and it's costing me some of my sanity. Ruud Gullit, you know the ordeal. He's got to be there. This is another year that he's came back to greatness. I'm not saying that he fell off, but he wasn't as suited in the game. There's been a few years where Ruud Gullit has been so much better than every other midfielder. It was clear cut. He was one of those players, if you bought Ruud Gullit, you instantaneously received better results. You got more wins, even if you didn't improve at the game. All around beast. I avoid Ruud Gullit. As the game stands, Haaland's still rank 1. I was tempting, I was teasing, I was thinking about FUT Champs, because the reality is, not all of you will love the way that Haaland plays. From the lack of skills to some of the bulkiness or the clumsiness. He's unorthodox, he's unusual, but if you get used to Haaland, there is definitely a certain value where you could fall in love. And he's got that cover star sprinkle, just a little extra boost. Haji, debate. I'm yet to have a year where the Romanian has got himself into one of the best midfielder conversations. He's not bad. The responsiveness is there, first touch, technical capability. Our options are just optioning. Sound like I'm a stockbroker. Mia Hamm, straight to the top. Right up there with the most overpowered or meta players available, as long as you have the stacks. Hansen, wow, she just came in huge. If you had the luxury, because I saw quite a few packs with this Hansen. Barcelona, right wing, it has to be. We're talking Trailblazers, Hansen. Her and Pateas have disrupted a lot of teams and experiences. They've put on for the culture. No, no, no. It might be a 90 overall, but it ain't happening. Henry, he's got the proper playstyles, finally. And I'm so happy that EA got this sort of right, better, improved. How many times have we had conversations? I'm looking at the camera, I'm in the comment section, and I'm complaining or critiquing about how Henry, because of his height and then the lack of balance, they've ruined his agility or his explosiveness or the way that he actually moves. He doesn't replicate what he did on the actual pitch, where he's known for being graceful and cutting edge and could react on a dime and still possess certain physical attributes and the finishing that you dream of. Just what a talent. Also really enjoying him as an analyst. I hope that that continues. Jarzinho, slot him into rank 1. Some of you might have him in broken. It depends what you're looking for in terms of a winger. The talent, the Brazilian flair, and an afro. I'm not mad at that mix-up. João Pedro, and it's tough based on this group because he's been solid. He's better than the beta. I think he has to go to foot champs. Harry Kane, I used him for a weekend. There are certain parts of his game that I liked, but there's still a certain level of one-dimensional play. You have to create a team around Harry Kane. I don't love that. He can't make his own chances, and your opponent's not fearful of Harry Kane, at least not if you're trying to hit counterattacks or anything around pace. Harry Kane does not offer that. I'm not that intimidated. This could come in as a hot take. I've used her. I thought she'd be better. Maybe I'll leave that here. Into the middies, based on how things are shaping up, I feel as if the German should be in foot champs. Her is such a strange player because I have yet to go up against her and not get crushed. But the stats don't look as if she should cause all these problems, but she does. When you go up against Kerr, what is that matchup looking like? Because I'm not winning it with Kerr. I'm still going to put her into foot champs, but I just want that on the record that maybe she's closer to rank 1. Kaká, brand new item. Happy with that. Similar to Henry. Surprisingly, Kaká, who was nimble, reactive, graceful in many ways. And with the play styles, you're creating margins and separation now. Even with him being a little bit taller, a little bit of a bigger body type, 6'1", 6'2". The play styles have given him a little more of an authentic feel. Kluivert, brand new item. I'm tucking him into foot champs. He's better than what we have in the debate, so maybe that's part of my judgment. At this point, I'm not doing it. I'm sorry. We've just got to start getting stricter here with the pine. Vincent, rank 1 for yours truly. Plenty of room to have conversations around center backs. We just have more depth in that position than I'm accustomed to, even at high levels. Lewandowski, what a finisher. So unlike Harry Kane, he's much faster and gives you a little more of the skills, and I'm not dealing with him well. I'm actually tempted to put him into rank 1. I'm tempted. Lucio to the top. Could you argue for Lucio potentially getting into broken? We've seen those legs that just keep on giving. The chase back always stand outish. Top tier proof of concept if we're looking at previous installments. Sometimes I like talking about consistency because we go through titles where there are patches. This year we've had officially 6 title updates as this is being recorded. Players that have successful FIFA history or FC history typically don't have peaks and valleys throughout patches and updates and game shifts. They will have better levels of consistency and continuity, and when you're spending a certain amount of money, that signifies that you're going to receive a proper return of investment. I am sounding like a finance channel more and more, but when we're looking at picking up players off the market, even SBCs, that is part of it. It is a marketplace. I want to walk away feeling like I got somebody who's going to impact what's happening and that I did not overpay. Brand spanking new, another Frenchman. Probably not getting the exposure or getting talked about enough. There hasn't been that hype. Could be brewing. It's also the brand new Marvel iteration. These haven't been readily available. They're not marketplace pickups just yet, but I've gone up against this version in particular quite a bit. So he must have been regularly packed from the pre-order guaranteed Marvel items. Luis Figo, always ask for more. He should be better. The stats say he should be better. His ability, his career, the moments that he created out of nowhere. Before Cristiano Ronaldo, it was all about Luis Figo. Tell me I'm wrong. Maldini has to go into broken. EA, give Maldini a 99 by the end of the year. We see these other center backs, fullbacks, center mids coming through with 99s. But Maldini is not receiving the goods. Why is that? Who do we have to talk to? If you're going to hand out 99s, Maldini needs to be one of them. Lothar. Woo! Tempted to get him into that rank 1. That man is an issue. Also a stern but lovely individual. We recorded a couple videos. Shout out to Bundesliga. Mbappe, forget about it. Does not matter the version. They will all be broken. Always broken. McManaman, I know some of you like him. I used his lower rated item a lot. Gave him some minutes, some real time. I wasn't that impressed. So that's where I'm standing. Messi, the maestro. I'm leaning towards him being here. This item helps Messi so much because it's difficult to get the chemistry unless you're building out from Argentina. But with these radioactive, they guarantee you chemistry. Technical with the playstyle plus to go with Messi, finesse shots, and just the way that he kind of moves, and he's center of gravity. The way he turns midfielders and defenders, but has that explosiveness because of the R1 dribbling, which would be the critique, is that maybe Messi's not that fast. You need a little more of that extra pace. The kicker, I've been destroyed by this Messi. Milito, I'm just going to give a no. We got to start filling up the pine. We've been too friendly today. Muller's good to go. Often overlooked, should not be overlooked. Not been an easy matchup whatsoever. Modric, I love him. Thank you. I'm so happy for Modric because he's often one of those players where we say, fantastic, one of the best to ever do it in real life. Will be an icon in the future. For me, Modric is in that same conversation with the likes of Xavi and Iniesta, these specialists, these midfield maestros that drive teams, that change the atmosphere, the landscape. You play through them and you can continually play through them. And EA got it right with this item, with the road to the knockout and the way that he's already upgraded. His movement is unparalleled. It's on the same level as Messi. Bobby Moore. Sorry, brother. Someone's got to start getting into this pine. Morientes, I'm tempted. I think he's a little bit better, so we'll throw him into the debate at the moment. Musiala, for me, is quite the player. I would happily argue he's one of the best dribblers. It has not changed. Technical, playstyle plus, you're absolutely gliding. I'm actually surprised he's not more expensive. Nesta, I don't care what they do. Nesta will have to earn additional attention and appreciation. Odegaard, for the weekend for sure. If you knocked out at SBC, I think you've had a good time with it. Neymar, I'm a little conflicted. He's right there on the cusp of being broken. I could see you arguing in his favor. I would rather have Messi than Neymar. This Neymar in particular, I used throughout a draft recently, and I felt that he went missing. I had trouble with some of his attacking positioning, which was sort of annoying. I need someone who has that killer instinct to find the gaps, to get the ball and be able to push that forward, have that agenda. Talent, though, it's there. That is official. And in his defense, attacking positioning in general in FC 24 can be kind of random. Even more so in some of the earlier patches or before the patches. The last patch, before this last patch, my players were hiding. We're playing hide and seek offensively. No, it's not happening. Might have the rating, but it's not there. Osimhen, I do not enjoy going up against, but at the same time, you're overpaying if you go after Osimhen, assuming the price tag is still there. Pedri, throwing him in the debate. Pele, iconic. What an ambassador of the sport. Thank you, Pele. We appreciate you. Pirlo, this is one of those big changes. I'm not saying Pirlo wasn't good in previous years, but we always were asking for more. Let's be all the way honest. You and I, or you wanted more. You were surprised that Pirlo had 5-star skills when he was introduced into FIFA. And then from there on, you've wanted more. Because he's not truly a holding mid, not really even a box-to-box. He's not a number 10. He's kind of this floater, this facilitator. He's an artiste, if you will. And they've done better with this version of Pirlo, where he's able to express himself. He's giving you those opinions, and he has that gracefulness that we're used to, the long hair just swooping back. I've always said Pirlo is a gentleman. Prince, no. You seeing a theme here? Puskas, hell yeah. Rank 1. Wish that EA gave him some of those key upgrades with the skills or the weak foot. Raul, don't sleep on him. And Raul will cost you at the moment 250,000 coins, somewhere in that range. I was looking at this a couple days ago and thought to myself, that is a good deal. That is good value. That is a good return of investment for what you're paying, what you're receiving. Ruben Diaz, I'm not on board. Oh, now we're getting more strict, it looks like. Rivaldo is similar to previous years. I'll throw him in the debate if you want to use him. It does help that he can do the Travellas and have some of the outside of the boot options, but he's not amazing. Roberto Carlos, he's the best left back in the game. The switches, the overlapping runs, the ability to cross, the passing in general, the speed to find space when there's not a lot of space. You can take on players. The only downside is that he's undersized. He's not a tall individual, so you'll be open on the back post for crosses, but sometimes Roberto Carlos even surprises you with some of the aerial pursuit. Ronaldinho, almost have to make another category for a couple of these players. I wish it was measurable, but the amount of new fans Ronaldinho must have produced throughout his tenure, his career. And if we're keeping everything a buck, and I question this as I'm going through Ronaldinho highlights weekly. What if we got to see a longer career of him being world class? Because Ronaldinho wasn't always. Yes, he had the ability, his technical, his footwork, the smiles and the appreciation and love of the game. We all co-signed that to the end. And when he was at Barcelona, I would say 3 or 4 year spell, untouchable, unguardable, unmarkable, just on a whole nother level. But that was the only period of his career that he was at that level or near that level, in my opinion. R9! You know the vibes. I know the vibes. You understand. There's only one place for him. I'm telling you, our broken category starting to look a little busy, conflicted in a good way. I don't know who I would move from the current stance, my positioning. The most prolific striker of all time, and unfortunately plagued by injury, but his natural capabilities, instinct. You want highlights, explosion, power, shiftiness, both feet. A lot of people forget how good the original Ronaldo actually was. I don't think anyone would discredit, but there are certain details to his game. As you watch back some of the vintage matches, simply spectacular. Saka, he's getting the upgrades. I don't know that he can move beyond foot champ, even with the upgrades. Mo Salah. Ooh, he's close. This SBC has made me high-key angry. Reminds me of Messi back in the day. He's faster if you're just talking baseline sprint speed or something in those regards, but more or less, I know what Salah's gonna do, and I often can't stop him. Is he cutting inside for a finesse shot? Often the answer is yes, and I'm sitting, I'm waiting, and I'm still getting chopped up, sliced and diced. Rank 1. Sawa just made a video about, I wouldn't say undervalued, but good value, cheaper, affordable, price points done right. If you're looking for icon pickups, no spoilers, but Sawa was in that video somewhere. Michael, I like him a lot. I just, based on what we have here and what I've already said about goalkeepers, maybe they all have to be in debate. So preference-based as a position. Silva, I like Silva. And for that reason, I'm putting him into the debatable, but I understand if you just say he's not with the meta. Smith, she will cause some issues. Easily foot champs. I'm more or less tempted to actually push her into a rank 1 agenda. Maybe doesn't have the biggest of names compared to some of the other players in this category, but what's right is right. Same with the secondary Smith. Both of them are fantastic, or in this case, Sophia greater than Kelly. Snyder. This is weird because I'm basing this more or less off his previous item. I have not been able to put minutes into the 91. I've only gone up against the 91 once. I didn't feel as if he changed or shifted the match to the degree that my expectation would have liked to have, but that's the problem with some of these brand new marvels. If you date back, there were a few years, easy to argue, not only was Snyder world class, but maybe the best or one of the best midfielders in the world. Technically, that is what world class means. Ter Stegen, I'm keeping the theme very consistent with these goalkeepers. I think that's where they're all going. Carlos Tevez, this new item is a big upgrade for him. And for that reason, I am tossing him into rank 1. Valverde to rank 1, good luck. Some of y'all might even have him broken. I'm not ready to give him that title just yet, but box to box goodness. He has that annoying feel. Maybe if he was a little better offensively, we could make a better case for broken. Van Basten. I don't love doing it, but you tell me where he competes within this group. Virgil van Dijk is good to go, but not Maldini good. And that's how I'm judging this. I have to. Verón. Debatable, but this new upgrade helped him. If we were talking about a previous iteration, which technically wouldn't make the ratings, wouldn't properly work into this top 100, without a doubt would be in the pine. Gianluca, I'm giving him the debate. Vinicius, wow. Oof. Has he done it? I think he has. Vinicius is heading to broken for yours truly. One of the fastest and most responsive, shifty players in the game. I hate going up against Vinicius Jr. this year, and I'm sure I'm not the only person with that opinion. Verts, I want him to be better. He's having quite the season. Deserves a lot of credit and appreciation. Xavi will surprise you, but he's not built for stardom. Yashin, I like Yashin maybe a little bit better than Schmeichel or Casillas. If you wanted to put him into foot champs, so be it, but that's where I'm at. This new Zanetti is improved, but I still think it's debatable. I'd prefer him as a center mid to a fullback. and you can play him as a center mid. I understand if you have him as a FUT Champs prospect. I'm still tempting that. I'm talking about it. I might be talking myself into it. He has the relentless playstyle plus, fantastic for that position. He's got jockey, intercept, anticipate. I'm doing it. I've talked my way into FUT Champs. Zico, brand spanking new and coming in with vengeance. There are levels to the game, and there's plenty of stairs when it comes to Zico. I don't know if that made sense, but broken. Zinedine, also a sure thing for the top of the chart, as you will, as you should, as you could, and as you would. Elite level in all ways, will be endgame certified. In fact, all of the broken category, when we're looking at these highest rated players, regardless of who is released, almost all of them, I have full belief at this current rating will stay in the broken category. There might be a few that could move. By a few, I'm 3 or 4. The rest will stay in that zone. Endgame in December, quite impressive. Last but not least, I'm glad that he makes it into this, Frankie de Jong. I'm leaning towards a rank 1. Good value SBC. We got a ton of players. I'm going to take a quick overview, see if we need to move anything just to keep the people happy. If you've got to this point and you have not commented, you're clearly invested. Let us know your opinion. As for the Pine, I don't see people coming out of this group. It's a matter of anyone's going in. For goalkeepers, if you wanted to move a goalkeeper into the Pine, understood completely. We might stand by this strong. Anyone from FUT Champs going up or going down? Zanetti, you saw we were a little cuspy with, but I'm going to leave him there. Kerr still stands out as a potential to go to rank 1. I don't know why she's so dangerous, but she is. If you wanted to push Bonmati up, I would hear your argument, especially after she won Player of the Year. I'd like to move 1. So that's what we're going to do. We've taken Kerr and given her a notch up to the rank 1 category, which could be controversial. Maybe it aligns. I don't know where other people stand. She's just been such a problematic player for me to go up against. Lucio, Vincent Company, you could probably argue on their behalf if you'd like. I don't think Lucio is as good as Maldini, but I do believe in him currently being at the broken tier. People are intimidated going up against Lucio. Who's a better fullback than Cafu right now? I don't think I can name one for a right back in the game. So I'm going to go ahead and give Cafu that notch. I prefer him to Carlos Alberto. That's my logic in terms of pulling one and leaving the other. Some of you might have Neymar. That Neymar actually, hold on. That Neymar should be a 92. Maybe that's what was throwing me off, is it wasn't upgraded. Even though I wasn't fantastic when I used him, the majority of the masses will have Neymar in broken. I can confidently say. I like what we've done here. Neymar up, Cafu up, Lucio up, and we wrap it up. Those are my thoughts. I'm sure there's plenty of controversy in the tiers. If you have other players you want to ask about, use the comment section. If you're new here, it's free to subscribe. We have more videos on screen if you want to continue consuming this content, which would be highly appreciated. And I have a lot more coming out ASAP.